resorting to murdering your spouse after only 8 days of marriage. Today, we're going to be talking about the murder of Cody Johnson. To give a little bit of backstory into his life, he was born on April 8th, 1998, was very outdoorsy, loved cars, got a career in making custom commercial cars, and his boss was his best friend. He had an awesome relationship with his family, with his friends, an amazing job that he loved, but all he really wanted was a wife to go along with it. Well, in Halloween of 2011, he met Jordan Graham. She was a huge Christian, very active in the church, but she was also very shy and reserved. But this attracted Cody to her. They were like yin and yang, perfect opposites. And Cody knew he was going to marry her after just a few weeks of knowing Jordan. He fell so hard, but a lot of their friends and family was noticing that Jordan wasn't falling quite as hard. And it's very important that I state that because of Jordan's religious views, celibacy was huge for her. So Jordan and Cody decided to buy a house and get married. It was very noticeable that Jordan was more excited about the wedding, though, than the marriage. And when it was time for the wedding, this is when things took a turn for the worse. Part 2 to the murder of Cody Johnson. Well, the day of the wedding hit and they had a custom song made for their wedding. And it stated things like, "You're my safe place to fall, you help me to climb higher for a better view." And this is all a massive foreshadow. After their wedding, Cody took a week off of work as their honeymoon period to move into their new house. Well, the day before this honeymoon period was over was a Sunday. So they went to church, went to the lake, and went out to Dairy Queen with some friends. And this was the last time anyone heard from Cody. The next day occurred and he didn't show up to work. His boss, who again was also his best friend, was extremely worried. So worried that he went to his house, and when he knocked on the door for a while and no one answered, he resorted to breaking in. He was panicked, looked for evidence around the house, and found Cody's phone in the garage. But there was no sign of Jordan. Absolutely panicked, he called the police. Because of how worried his boss was, the police took this very seriously. They were also wondering why his wife didn't make this report. Well, the wife ended up texting a friend asking if they had seen Cody, saying that he drove off with out-of-town friends and didn't know where he went. Part 3 to the murder of Cody Johnson. So at this point, friends and family know that Cody is missing. So they go to Cody and Jordan's house to help. And when they're over there, Jordan just seems upset instead of happy that people are actually helping. At one point, she gets so upset that she throws her wedding ring. Well, obviously with this behavior, the police call her in to question her. They're like, "Hey, was there a fight?" She says no. They're like, "Well, do you think you know where he went?" She's like, "Well, he does like to go out on very fast joy rides," almost suggesting that they were going too fast and maybe crashed somewhere. She also said that she didn't make a missing persons report in case he came back and was upset with her. Well, the cops were potentially thinking that this was a drug deal gone wrong, because that wasn't uncommon for the area. Search parties were looking for Cody everywhere until an email came in. I'll insert this email now from Cody the car man. And Jordan originally showed this email to her friend. And it was her friend who encouraged her to take this email to the cops instead of her just doing it herself. It stated that his body was in Glacier National Park. But when she took this to the police, she showed no emotion. But they still decided to search there. Part 4 to the murder of Cody Johnson. So whenever Jordan brought this email to them, she claimed that he did work with a Cody. And when they found this Cody and interviewed him, he said that he hadn't worked with him in a long time. He also was extremely cooperative and they couldn't find any evidence against him. They also could not tie that email to him. So they take their search to Glacier National Park. Jordan brings her friend Hannah and they walk around with a search party looking at different areas. But again, Jordan's very unemotional and not even helping. Her friend was just trying to be as supportive as possible. Well, they couldn't find him, so they went home, called it a day, and came back the next day. And Jordan brought her little brother with her. And as they're driving through, Hannah is suggesting places that the search party should go to. But Jordan ends up having another idea. She takes them on a very long road to the top where a parking lot is, and states that her and Cody went here a lot. This area was beautiful and scenic, but dangerous, and the rocks for the hikers were not approved. But everyone watched as Jordan jumped over the railing and onto the rocks, went to a specific edge of a small cliff, throws a rock over the edge and states, "I think he's down there." Part 5 to the murder of Cody Johnson. So Jordan throws the rock over the edge and states, "OMG, it's him." Her little brother joins her and kind of looks over the edge, and it's just past the point that you can't see, but you can definitely see that something's down there, which traumatized her little brother, and he was so upset that he was physically crawling back to the car and crying. And again, Jordan was emotionless. And everyone was shocked by her behavior and the fact that she knew the right place to go. A member of the FBI had to actually climb down the tree by rope in order to confirm that there was a body down there before they even started the rescue mission, because of how dangerous the rescue mission would be. But once they were able to go there, they confirmed that it was him, he had his ID on him, and a helicopter had to come drop a 200-foot line to retrieve him. All of Cody's friends and family stated that he was afraid of heights, so he had to have been lured there. The police thought it was very suspicious that Jordan knew exactly where to go, and when questioned on this, she said the Holy Spirit just led her to this spot. Now they're super weirded out but still don't have evidence against her. And this is when her matron of honor ended up coming forward with text messages about Jordan being scared to get married. Part 6 to the murder of Cody Johnson. So the matron of honor ended up coming forward with all of these text messages, in which Jordan was saying that she was scared to get married and scared to lose her virginity. She was also crying the day of her wedding and stated that she would freak out if he even made a move on her. Well, I guess after they got married, she pretended like she was on her period. But obviously that lie can only last for so long, so she told her friend that she ended up telling Cody she didn't want to be with him anymore after 8 days of marriage, that they got into an argument and he left. So now the police know that she's telling different people different things. On top of that, they were able to trace the IP address of the email back to her stepdad's house. So that's when Jordan knew it was time to come clean. She said she told Cody she wasn't happy anymore and they got into a huge argument, but decided to cool off a little bit at the national park, in which they got into an altercation again and she pushed him off the cliff, which didn't surprise investigators at this point. Jordan then went to his funeral and was on her phone the entire time.